Hello everyone, this is Priyanka from CS Priyanka's Profession Classes. Today my topic is business ethics and this is syllabus specific for CMA Inter people from law and ethics subject. The ethics is very easy, okay, nothing to explain as because this is exactly like environmental law, whatever you have read in your school life. But still my notes, so it's my duty to explain my notes. Hope you will be benefited from my video. If you like my video, don't forget to like, subscribe and share with your friends. So let's get started. Before starting to explain my notes, I would like to explain or I would like to say some words about the term ethics. What is actually meaning of the term ethics? Ethics meaning is nothing but your behavior towards the person who are sitting in front of you. Okay. So though the subject is business ethics, so until and unless I explain you what is ethics, I cannot go into the business ethics. So let me explain the only ethics first. Only ethics means our behavior towards our society, our family, or an individual who are there around us. Your behavior, your character, this is actually represents ethics, which means ethical values, your behavior. These ethics, whatever we will read now or this subject, this topic is going to guide you or guide a person's behavior. Take an example, your mom is calling to you and you respond and you have not responded or you have behaved in a very rude way. That is your ethics, your behavior. Someone is telling you something, your friends, your sisters, your siblings. You are listening to that person very patiently. That is your behavior, your character. Your character may be good, your character may be rude, your character may be simple, polite. All these are, we called it ethics. So this ethics also vary from one person to another person. I may react in a different way. You may react in some other way. Okay, on a same subject matter. This is ethics. So my behavior is something, your behavior is something else. Obviously, it's not going to tally. This is ethics. So I think it is clear what you mean by ethics. So the term ethics actually derived from the Latin word ethos, which actually means character. Ethics is a basic concept and fundamental principles of decent human conduct. So how you will behave, obviously you have to think first. We cannot behave like anything or any way as we wish. Okay, we should behave properly or as per law. Okay, unnecessarily, obviously you cannot make chaos. Maybe something is going in our mind. Take example, like I'm angry on someone else and I am feeling secretly like to to fight with that person, but obviously you cannot do that in front of everyone or in front of public, because others will blame or others will bring the charge on you, because your behavior is representing a very bad, rude, cruel, all these things. So obviously our conduct in our society, obviously we have to think first, then we do. So that is ethics. Ethics actually nothing but a set of moral principles which actually guide us how to behave. There are three types of ethics. First is meta-ethics, second is normative ethics, and third is applied ethics. What is meta-ethics? Meta-ethics means your judgment or your moral judgment. By seeing a fact or by seeing an incident, okay, by seeing an incident, what is coming into your mind first, or your judgment, whatever you are judging or your judgment whether the thing, whatever is going on in front of you, is right or wrong. That judgment, your judgment, whatever is coming to your mind, your judgment, we called it meta ethics. So obviously, whatever you will decide, that is from your moral value, your character, how you feel. That is known as metaethics. Metaethics is, it deals with the nature of moral judgment. So after seeing one incident, or by seeing a fact, by hearing one fact, what's your judgment? That is metaethics. Secondly, come to normative ethics. First is moral judgment. Now, whenever you will judge something or you will decide something, obviously you will decide on the basis of your own right or wrongs. So first you have to decide whatever is going on is right or wrong. So that criteria for what is right, what is wrong, that is known as normative ethics. So meta ethics means the moral judgment. Normative ethics means for doing such judgment, how you are thinking, your thinking thought process, what is right, what is wrong, that is normative ethics. And applied ethics, thirdly, that is not in the hand of any person. It is a very controversial topic. Applied word means it is already applicable. For example, in front of you, one means someone is killing someone. Okay, a murder happened in front of you. So obviously, murder is a crime. What you will think, what is right, what is wrong, nothing to decide. Na? Already it is applicable. The punishment is applicable or applied. It's an applied punishment, applied law. Okay, so means rules, regulations is automatically is going to applicable on that person. So nothing to decide there. Okay, no moral judgment, no right wrong is coming. So if some incident is happening, and that is if you ensure that it's a murder, killed or attempt to murder, or something is happening and law is there, it is applicable. Here your decision doesn't have any value. That is known as applied ethics. What are the importance of ethics? There are some importance. First is, obviously, whatever your behavior, character, first it should satisfy the basic human needs. Okay, this is the first importance. It should satisfy basic human needs. Secondly, uniting people and leadership. If you're having that leadership power, so obviously that uniting people, okay, so this is also a type of ethics or your moral value, your character. Improvising decision making, that is also one of the importance of ethics. Okay, if you are having that character or that power, that moral ethical values, obviously you are having that power to improvise or improving the decisions. Okay, or next is, organizations guided by ethics and values are profitable in the long run. This is also one of the importance of ethics, that whatever organizations is guided by ethics and values must be profitable in long run. So your behavior should be like that, so that you can sustain there for a long run and can help them in a profitable way. Okay, otherwise, if you can take one example, like you are working in a company, or else your behavior is so rough that customer don't want to deal with you, so they don't like you. So in such cases, what happens? So the organization may lose the customer, right, for you. So this type of thing. So if you are having a good behavior, good ethics, okay, your character, if your character is good, then obviously it will also help the organization. And also, the ethics also helps in securing the society. Obviously, if we maintain that relationship with others, with our native, means with our family members, with our friends, neighbors, so what happened in the problem of yours, they will come. Okay, any problem you may get them. But in case if you are behaving very rudely to them, and if you are known to be a very cruel or rough person in your society, then obviously they are not going to support you. So in case if you are in problem also, you won't get any person, okay, who will hear to you. So these are the 5 importance of ethics. Next is 7 principles of public life. This is a very important question, usually comes for you people. So I will suggest that only you can read these headings: selflessness, integrity, objectivity. Inside, just read and write of your own. So 7 principles of public life. So you can write actually from your own practical experience. For example, things for public life, some of the principles you have to maintain. Okay. First is selflessness. That means holders of public office should act solely in terms of public interest. That means, for example, you got a responsibility to take care of office, to take care of an office or a shop, anything. So, first of all, if you are the holder of that public office, you should act solely alone in terms of public interest. So you can't think about others. You cannot think like what is your profit or etc etc. So if you get one responsibility, it is your duty to perform such responsibility with good faith. And they should not do in order to gain financial or other benefit. You should not do anything for the financial benefit always. Obviously we work or we do for financial benefit, but sometimes we do beyond that also. Okay, so that is actually the ethics. Otherwise, where is ethics? We do, it's a give and take relationship, right? So whenever you are having one responsibility, to subject to that, whatever is required to be done, you need to do. So that is known as selflessness. So you should not think about the benefits or other things. Okay, so in case if you're the holder of any office or anything, so you should do it for your public means you should do it solely and for public interest only. That is known as selflessness. Next is integrity. Integrity, whatever you will do, you should do it honestly. Okay, and you should do it honestly. And being a human being, okay, being a person in a society, you are staying in a society, you should influence also others to perform and to give their best towards your organization or towards their work. So that is actually integrity. So whatever you are going to do, you should do it with a good faith. Okay, and whatever I have written, like holders of public office should not place themselves under any financial or other obligation. So you should not work only for money. I cannot like say like if you are giving this much money, so I will work only up to this. I won't do that, etc. etc. If any emergency also arise, then also I won't help you. So that should not be. So these principles you should remember in your public life. Thirdly, objectivity. For to carry or in carrying out a public business, whenever you are doing any business or you are running an office or you are working in any organization, including anything, making public appointments, awarding contracts, or you are entering into a contracts, or in case you are referring or recommending any individuals or rewarding benefits, you should not, you should do it on the basis of merit, not on the basis of you cannot say like this, there are 10 people are there, your company is hiring, okay, people. So you, it should not be like that ki out of 10, one person is your own family member, came from your family, maybe your brother, maybe your sister, maybe your wife, anyone, your friends. So you should not give or offer that job only to that person. Okay, so that is actually wrong. Objectivity word means you should choose whatever you are doing. Either you are giving, you are giving any reward, or you are appointing any person, or you are recommending any person, or you are giving any benefits, holding anything, whatever you are doing, you should do on the basis of the merit of the person. That means the person who deserve that post or deserve that thing, you should give it to them. You should not be like I cannot say like, you should not be like these persons are my own people, so this award will go to them only. No. Okay, so you should treat all the persons. It may be your family member, it may be your friends, it may be the outsider. You should treat them equally. Okay, should, and you should make the choices. Whatever you are going to do, it's, you should do it on merit basis. That is known as objectivity, and this is also one of the principle of public life. Next point is accountability. The meaning of accountability is responsibility. So holder of the public office, the person who is holding the public office, he is accountable for their decisions, actions to the public. Okay, and also must submit themselves to whatever scrutiny is appropriate to the office. So accountability means it's totally the responsibility. He should perform all the responsibility whatever he is having, and he should serve himself or submit, means must submit themselves to whatever scrutiny or appropriate things need to be done in the office. He is accountable to take any decision and to do any actions. He can take any action, okay, for the public interest. So this is also one of the importance of, sorry, principle of public life. Next is openness. Openness means you should be very open. You should open yourself, okay, to the world or to the towards the organization. That means if you're working with some other people, you should maintain this openness. That means you should not be mum. That means whatever is coming to your mind, you should speak out. Okay, if you see any wrong is going on in front of you, you are having that right to speak out, to protest. That is known as openness. Openness is also means like you are not shy. You are having that capability to maintain that relationship, or to be you can mix with other persons also very smoothly. So that openness means easily you can make friends, easily you can understand others, easily you can maintain a good relationship with other people. So these actually require, it means it required in an organization or in public office. So if you are holding a public office, you should be open as possible about all the decisions and actions. So whatever you are taking decisions, whatever you are taking actions, everything you should inform. Okay, or some information must be there which you should restrict. So it depends on the criteria basis, but whatever you are going to do it means you have to perform, and you should be open. Not like that ki being a holder of the public office, you are taking the decision, you are thinking to do something, but you are keeping everything in your self, so no one can know anything. Okay, so that is also not right in an organization. So you should maintain this openness. Honesty. While you are holding a public office, obviously whoever has vested this responsibility on you, obviously trusted you, have some trust on you and believes you, okay, that you won't do any type of fraudulent activity. So obviously being a holder of that public office, you should be honest enough to perform your work or perform your responsibility. And if any problem comes, that also you can share it, you can resolve it. Okay, for to protect the public interest, whatever is needed to be done, you can do it, but whatever you will do with good faith. So that is honesty. You should not be detrimental to means detrimental to the demand or to the you can say goodwill of the company. So you should be honest enough to perform your work, and you must do your work with integrity and honesty. And finally, being a holder of the public office, you should promote and support these principles by leadership and example. Like means these are being a leader, you should spread all these things among others with whom you're going to work and who are working under you. And this is your responsibility actually. It comes under responsibility that to spread knowledge. Okay. So you should promote all these things, support, you should support everyone, whoever is working with you. And if you're having, and also principles of leadership, you should lead your team properly with proper examples. You should spread, you should support them, you should explain them about all these duties, principles of public life, so that it will become very easy. So these are the 7 principles of public life. So if any being a holder of the public office, you should remember these 7 principles of public life. Normally we should follow these regulations um, in our public life. Okay. Next come to business ethics. Now till this moment I was explaining the meaning of ethics. Now I'm going to ethics means, I think it is clear to you that your behavior, your character, your behavior towards the society, friends, okay, family, that is ethics. Now business ethics is your behavior towards your organization where you are working, your any institution, okay. So or towards the corporate. So business ethics meaning is same, only it will towards the business activity. So business ethics definition is, business ethics is also known as corporate ethics, and it examines ethical principles and moral or ethical problems that arise in a business environment. It deals with the morality in the business. So obviously, so in the corporate environment, in a business environment, whatever problem comes, whatever dispute arise, your behavior towards that organization will represent business ethics. Clear? Next is, what are the features of business ethics? So now we know like business ethics means our behavior towards the organization or the corporate, towards the corporate world. So now it is very easy, like what are the features? Like first is code of conduct. Business ethics nothing but a code of conduct. That means whenever you are standing in your organization, in your office, you should maintain some decency and code or rules and regulation that how to behave. Obviously, you cannot behave in any way with your boss, your colleagues and all this. It's not ethical. Okay, it's against ethical values or moral values. Okay, so that's why you should follow these code of conducts and should maintain the decency while you are standing in the organization and you are talking to your colleagues, your client, your business, anyone, okay, in the offices, with to the officers, directors, okay, KMPs, etc, etc. Next is based on moral and social values. Business ethics is totally based on moral and social values. It contains moral social principles for doing business. Uh, some examples I have included, like include self-control, like how to self-control. For example, in front of you, the boss is standing and telling you anything. Okay, I know that is means that is not correct. Okay, he is telling you some bad thing, he is blaming you, but still you should be self-control. Okay, you should maintain the self-control in an organization. That is your ethics, you can say business ethics. Consumer protection, okay, whatever you are doing, you should protect the consumer. If you are deals with the if you are there in the in that if you are in the organization and dealing with the consumers or client related things or product based company, obviously you whatever you are doing, you are doing for the consumer's protection. You have to protect the consumer, otherwise they can file a case against you or they can complain in the consumer forum. So that's also you have to keep in your mind. Welfare service to society, fair treatment to social groups, not to exploit others, etc, etc. So whatever anything is happening around surrounding us, still we have to become, we need to become in the organization. So that is like based on moral and social values. So you should whatever, you should treat the people, you should treat the groups, social groups, should not exploit others. That means you cannot force someone to work on, means in exchange of money, or and also some, you are expecting some person to do some fraudulent activity in exchange of money. These are all exploitation, we called it. So these are, you should maintain while you are standing in the organization. Gives protection to the social groups. Okay, so whoever it is, if you are working, whatever your work activities is relating to consumer, employees, business, government, shareholders, debenture holders, creditors, whoever it is there in the organization, whatever is there, and whatever act you will do, that should protect that social group. It should not against them. Okay, so you should give the protection to these groups. That is, it may be consumer, it may be employees, it may be the businessman, it may be the government authorities. Okay, shareholders, creditors, debenture holders, whoever is there relating, means related to your organization or company, you should give a proper protection to them. Next feature is, whenever you are standing in your organization, you should provide a basic framework. Framework means it represents social, cultural, economic, legal, everything. Social means there should be some balance. Okay, there must be some balance. For example, in working days they are working. In any cultural, if any cultural or religious matter is there, you should give them holiday. If they are facing any problem or disputes or like any harassment or against law, obviously you should give them a legal protection. You should give them salary, economic, cultural, social, every limit should be there in a business. So whatever you will do, you should maintain that limit. Okay, whatever you will, means the business must be conducted within that limit. Okay, that means what, you are providing a basic framework to them. Voluntary. Business ethics always must be voluntary, because businessman must accept business ethics on their own. Business ethics must be like self-discipline. It must not be enforced by law. Okay. So whenever you are doing business, for example, if you are running a company, company law is there to regulate you. If you are contravening those rules and regulation, obviously you will be punished. Now, if you're doing a business, so business means what? Here, whenever you are doing any business, so business ethics must be voluntary. That means you should accept that business ethics. Okay, that means it should be, you should maintain some self discipline. Okay, you must be like self discipline, or you should not work against law. Okay, you should value those things. So that is known as, next, this is known as voluntary. To do a business or to run an organization, obviously it requires education and guidance. Proper education and guidance is required. This is also one of the business ethics features of business ethics. Obviously, the businessman, those who are doing the business, must be given a proper education and guidance before introducing business ethics. And businessman must be motivated to use the business ethics. They should not misuse, and they are owner, they can do anything. This should not be, this is not correct. Okay, so being a businessman, they should be proper educated, and they should get this type of guidance also, and they must be motivated also to use this business ethics, what is right, what is wrong. And they must be informed about the advantages, disadvantages of using business ethics. So they should be properly knowledgeable before introducing this business ethics in the organization and before doing the business. Next is relative term. Business ethics is actually a relative term. That means whatever rules you have fixed for your business, it differs from other business of someone else. Okay. So it actually changed from one country to other country also. My organization rules are different. Your organization's rules may be different. Maybe my organization, I fix the time for the workers like 9 to 5. In your organization, you may start from 10 or 12. No harm in it. So it varies. My rules are different. I may give the work from home facility. You are not giving that thing. You don't prefer work from home. It may be different. I am giving some more facility. You are not giving that facility, or vice versa. So what happened? It's a relative term. It's not a same thing, or it's not a fixed rules or thing. fixed rules or regulation. So it actually changes from one business to another, because it depends on the object of the business also. Because maybe I'm doing the business of medicine, or I'm doing the business of a hazardous chemicals. So maybe my facility must be more. Obviously, I should provide much more security to my worker than yours. Maybe you are in a different way. You are a consultant. No need to give so much facility. So it is a relative. It is not same for all business. It is not for same for all organizations. So it actually varies, changes from one business to one another, or from one country to another. And finally, an important thing is feature of business ethics, that first new concept. Always it needs business ethics is a newer concept. Okay, it is strictly followed only in developed country, obviously. So always you should bring some innovative ideas, innovations, etc., etc. Then only you can sustain in the market. So new concepts must be there for the development of your business, and it is followed properly in a poor and developing countries also. So you are doing the same thing from the last 15 and 20 years. Obviously it won't work in the next 20 years. You have to think something new. It should be very handy or something. You should bring some innovations. You bring some newer concepts or new concepts which will help you to improve or in the future. Okay, future visions. So obviously new concept must be there in the business ethics. Okay, so these are all are the features of business ethics. Next is importance of business ethics. So importance of business ethics, you can write only if you think from the perspective of business or from the perspective of an organization. That means first you have to think you are standing in an organization and what are needed. Okay, so business ethics will help you in wins what way. Now first is it will improve consumer confidence. It helps to create good image of the business, obviously, because if your business ethics or if your behavior, your character is good towards your means towards your business or organization, obviously it will help to create a good image of your business. Goodwill, it will helps to increase your goodwill. Next is profitability. It will also helps to earn profit, because good relation with the customers, consumer, clients is very necessary in an organization and business. So it results profitability. Next is safety from legal perspective. Obviously, if you are all okay, if you are maintaining all the decency, if you are disciplined enough, if you are maintaining all rules and regulation, obviously safety is there from legal perspective. And lastly, business becomes conscious of social responsibilities. So lastly, it will become your social responsibilities. That means not always like that, this is my duty, I will do that. It is your social responsibility to contribute something towards your organization. That may be in the form of work, or by way of fund, or by way of innovations, ideas, anything it may be. So business becomes conscious of social responsibility. So you have to recognize, you have to understand this social responsibilities towards your business organization. So these are the importance of business ethics. Next is 7 principles of business ethics. This is also very important. Questions usually come in exam, CMA, Inter. Uh, what are the 7 principles of business ethics? First is be trustful wherever you are. We keep open-minded, because openness is very necessary. Meet obligation. Whatever your duties, please meet those responsibilities and obligations, and whatever your liabilities, please do those. Means whatever you are liable to do, please do it. Have clear documents. Don't do any forgery. Whatever clear documents is needed, please keep it. Become community involved. Okay, so try to involve yourself or community involved, so that don't be alone. Okay, be suspicious. Maintain accounting control. Okay, whatever you are doing, please maintain accounts. Proper auditing is also required. Okay, and for that, accounting control. How to control means you have to fix the budget. You should not exceed that limit. Whatever is there, you have to control that. So you have to maintain that accounting control and be respectful. So whatever you are doing, do it with integrity and honesty. Okay, with good faith, do it. Be respectful. These are the 7 principles of business ethics. Areas in business ethics. There are 3 areas. Okay. First is CSR. CSR means corporate social responsibility, which means you are doing some social activities, social work, any corporate or organization or business is doing some social activity. So that we called it social corporate social responsibility. So this is also one area in business ethics, because how you will behave, how your character is, how you can contribute beyond your limitation, it depends on this area. So this is one of the area, that is CSR. Second is fiduciary responsibility. What do you mean by the term fiduciary? Uh, which cannot be seen or touched, which you can only feel it. That means you can say trust. I trust you, so I have given some responsibility to you, and on the basis of on that trust, you are performing. So no give and take or monetary relationship is there between us, but even if there is a monetary relationship, still some trust must be there. So on the basis of that trust, I am performing something, so or I am doing the whatever responsibility is vested on me. So this type of responsibility is known as fiduciary responsibility. This is also one area where you can show your moral or ethical values towards your organization. If in an organization, if any person or if anyone trusts you, okay, and believes you and given any type of responsibility to you, so you should be aware of this business ethics. That means you should do from your heart. That means what is right, what is wrong, okay, you have to think, and you should not think for your benefit, like what is my benefit if I do this. Okay, you have sometimes you should do for public interest also. So fiduciary responsibility I have written, like a person with a fiduciary duty. If someone in home, another person has placed the utmost trust and confidence to manage and protect property or money, whatever it is. So here the main important word is trust. Next is industrial espionage. So actually what do you mean by the term industrial means, what do you mean by the term espionage? Espionage means it's a practice of spying, okay, of using spies, typically by the government, to obtain political or military information. Okay, and obviously so you're getting like industrial espionage means it's also a type of getting some way you are trying to obtaining some information. Okay, it's a process like of illegally and unethically obtaining confidential information from other companies, which is actually wrong. If you are industrial espionage means you cannot obtain or you cannot try to get the ill means some confidential information of other company, okay, for your benefit. Okay, that is illegal in nature. That if you do that, it's your like against business ethics. Okay, and it is also against your moral or value, you can say. So you should not do all these things. So industrial espionage means, first of all, in whatever confidential information is having with you relating to your organization, keep it with you. Don't leak it or don't do like insider trading and all. And don't try to obtain all this type of confidential information from outside also for your own benefit or for your organization benefit. That is also illegal in nature. So if you do that, it is against business ethics. So these are the 3 areas are there in business ethics. Need for business ethics. So what are the need for business ethics? See, first is consumer satisfaction. It's very important that to obtain consumer satisfaction. Obviously, to create a good image, that is also required. You have to protect employees, shareholders, debenture holders who are there related to your company. To improve customers' confidence, that is also needed. Competition is there, okay, for if you want to work in the market, if you want to do business, obviously competition is there, but healthy competition. You should not do in a unfair means. Okay. To stop business malpractice. So whatever illegal means, you should not do the business in an unfair means. Okay, whatever you do with honesty, with good faith. Okay, stop business malpractice. Whatever means bad practices are there for doing business, please stop it. And obviously, one of the thing is to develop a good relation with the customers, client, your colleagues, etc., etc. These are all needed for business ethics. Next, the standards of ethical conducts for practitioners fixed by ICAI. So obviously, ICAI, okay, Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, fix some standards, okay, for those practitioners or professionals. And whenever these practitioners are coming and auditing in a company or appointed in a company in their area, they should follow that standards. Okay, and we called it as a standard of ethical conducts. So whenever for ethical conducts, they should follow those standards. So what that standards are telling, I have just explained and I have just interpreted those things, because if you check in their website, ICAI website is there. If you search in Google, it still it is there, but it's in something in complex way because it's standards. Na? So I just interpreted and made some points from there. What is written actually in those standards? So first point is maintain at all times independence of thoughts and action. That means don't be influenced by someone else. Whatever you are thinking, take whatever decision you are taking, okay, take it of own, okay, of your own. Don't influence or don't not like that someone is forcing you to do that. Okay, so independently you should think and take action. Next is not to express an opinion on cost or financial reports or statement without first assessing her or his relationship with her or his client. Got it? So don't express anything, any opinion on money, cost, financial reports, any monetary things, statements, without assessing the her or his relationship with her client. First, assess. Maybe he charges less, okay, because the person, his client or his client may be his own people, okay, or from his friends. So first assess it, then you give your opinion on those cost of financial reports. Okay, without assessing, without knowing the background, don't give any opinion. Thirdly, disclose all the true material fact while preparing cost financial report or statement. So whenever you are preparing the cost financial report or statement, whatever you are writing, write the true material fact. If any dispute is there, write the dispute one only. But don't improvise those things into a good one. Okay, that is actually bad. So whatever is going on in that organization, disclose all the true material fact. Next is not to disclose or use any confidential information concerning the affairs of such members, employers or client. That means if any confidential information exists in that organization, relating to the members, employers or client, anything, whatever it is. If such information is confidential enough, then don't disclose it. Okay. So these are the main standards of ethical conducts needs to be followed by a practitioners. Next is inform his or her employer or client of any business connection or interest which would reasonably expect to be informed. So whatever needed to be informed to them, whether your employer, that employer or his client or etc. So if any information is needed to be informed, please inform it. Don't keep it with you. Okay. Next is during the course of exercising his or her duties, must not acquire any fee, remuneration or benefit without such employers or clients' knowledge and consent. So you should not take any monetary benefit without their consent. Okay, being a practitioner, consult, do the work. You should follow the standard while doing the work, but don't charge anything or don't acquire any monetary things or any fee remuneration without your employer or client's knowledge or consent. Next is, take all the reasonable steps as a consultant, such as to establish clear understanding of the scope and objectives of the work before it furnish the client with an estimate of cost. So whatever you are preparing the documents, um, you should establish a clear understanding, okay, between you and the employer and client and all. So you should whatever reasonable steps needs to be taken as a consultant, take it. Okay, whatever you are preparing, explain it in a proper way to them. Okay, whatever needs to be furnished to them, furnish it, then estimate the cost or fees if needed. So first you should establish a clear understanding, okay, between you and you means the practitioner and the employer and client. Okay, it should be clear and you should explain them in a very simple way so that no confusion or anything must exist. And before it furnish the client with an estimate of cost, then give that estimate of cost. Okay, first do your work, then give the estimation of the cost. Next is, conduct himself or herself towards other members with courtesy and good faith. So whatever you are doing, conduct yourself or towards the clients, members with a good courtesy and good faith. Okay, so that the person who is sitting in front of you must trust you and believes you. Don't prove yourself very idiot. Okay, so don't prove yourself idiot. At least try to maintain that trust. Whatever whatever the responsibilities they are resting on you, try to do it with honesty and integrity and with good faith. Next is, not to attempt to gain an advantage over other members by paying or accepting a commission. Don't be involved yourself with any monetary benefit, okay, other than your fees. So don't do any activity so that from that you are going to gain or taking an advantage. Okay, so that, or accepting a commission from others for doing some work. Don't do all these illegal things there. So these are against business ethics. Okay, so what other than your fees, don't involve yourself with any monetary uh, exchange or monetary or commissions from anyone. Lastly, at all times, maintain the standard of competence expressed by the institute from time to time. So obviously, whenever you have to maintain all these standards, whatever is there. So these are the ethical standards you have to maintain and you have to follow. And if any amendment comes on this, then you have to follow that also. So whatever your institute is expressing time to time, you have to follow all those things, the updated one. So these are the standards, ethical standards prescribed by ICAI for the practitioners. Of management accounting from the business ethics perspective. Okay. So first is problem solving. So the role of accounting in problem solving is to provide information useful in evaluating alternatives. So nothing but whatever problems if anyone is facing any problems, their main work is to solve the problem. So they should not, the main, I want to say, like, for example, I'm sitting in the management accounting, and if you are having any problem, you are coming to me and think I'm having some personal issue with you. So if I don't help you to solve your problem, that is against business ethics. So I should help you. I should solve your problem, whatever you want, whatever information or whatever things are needed to solve your problems, I should help you. So if I don't do that, that is against business ethics. So first point is problem solving. Second is scorekeeping. Scorekeeping, you know, that scorekeeping records means you are working whole year. After that, your performance. Okay, so what is your score actually? So scorekeeping records the result of the various section of the managers and helps in assessing whether the result expected from the various action are realized or not. These are known as scorekeeping. So for there also I should not be partial. Okay, so I should treat all the person on the basis of their merits. So if you perform good, then obviously I will give you good score. If you perform less, then obviously I will give you less score. But if I am having any personal issue with you, but you are a good worker, I should not give you a bad score only means for my own satisfaction. Okay, that is against business ethics. So scorekeeping is like that. Whenever I'm doing it, I should treat everyone equal and I should do it on the basis of merit. Thirdly, attention directing. The scorekeeping function in combination with expected results and comparative analysis of scores of various companies, divisions and departments, comparative analysis of percent period scores of result with previous period of show opportunities of focusing attention of managers to improve things. So attention directing means you are focusing the attention of the managers. For example, in your company or in your business organization, there are managers, okay, 2 3 managers, but you are giving some opportunities to one specific manager and focusing the attention of such managers just to improve things. There also, whatever you will do, means that attention directing, whatever you will do, you should not means do against by going against business ethics. So you should treat or you should do the same with honesty and integrity, and it's only for public interest, not for your own interest. Okay, so these are the things, these 3 things. Role of management accounting means first is problem solving, scorekeeping, and attention directing. Whatever you will do, it's on the basis of merit. Okay, and you should treat all the people, all the employees equally. Okay, no partiality. And these, if you do against, means if you don't do all these things, then we called it is against business ethics. So these are the role of management accounting. Next is value chain. So what do you mean by value chain? Value chain is a process or activities, okay, by a company uh, which adds value to an article. Article means it may be production, marketing, okay, or any type of services like buy, sales, trading, anything. Your organization is involved maybe in production, marketing, sales service, whatever it is, whatever you are adding. Okay, the process or activities, whatever you are following to add some value in it, that is known as value chain. Got it? I can give you one example. Like, every product, a new version, any software or any product, okay, any goods always comes in the market with a new version. It may be iPhone, it may be TV, television, it may be any type of like aquaguards, aqua products, okay, chimney. If you talk about software, there are also a lot of updated softwares. So what happens, for example, today you are bringing something in the market, or you are just um, for example, today one software or one product is going very nicely in the market. Okay, now think, from today onwards, coming 20 years, after 20 years, this product or this software is having no value in the next 20 years. Why? Because the world is changing, the product is same. Okay, so it's not fulfilling your needs, satisfaction. Okay, and also because every day we are changing, okay, not changing, some new innovations is needed in a business, I said. So always we improvise the thing in such a way so that it makes much easier for the people to use it. So that's why today the software which is going very nicely, tomorrow it may not work. You have to bring something new. So always a new concept must be there, a new thing must be there in future. So that means vision must be there. Okay. Now value chain is that means actually value chain. That means you same thing is there, same product, same thing. Some additional requirements or specification you are adding, and means in that way it adds some value to that article. Okay, and it may be in your production or marketing or anything. Okay, that is known as value chain. Why value chain is needed? That means why this value addition is needed in that product or in that thing, in that article. Because customer focus, otherwise customer will lose their focus, because it will attract customer, something new thing. Okay, last, if you check that iPhone, like before 11, like means if you see that iPhone 6, 7, 7, 8, okay, 11, 11 Pro, some new addition is there. So it may be in the camera quality or some more specification, or 3 camera, 2 camera, some changes will be there. So some addition or some value addition they did for the betterment of the people, and or may means specifically to focus the customers. And this is known as customer focus, customer satisfaction also you can say. Next is key success factors. Obviously, like these are the non-financial factors which have an effect on economic viability of the organization. Example like cost, quality, time. That also you have to think. Like for example, whatever value you are adding, on the based on that you have to fix the cost. Got it? So no, some little value you have added and you have kept, means you have fixed the cost, means much, which a normal people cannot afford, or a business class also cannot afford, then your market will won't work. So you have to keep these three things in your mind. The key success factor first is cost. Now whatever cost you are going to fix on the basis of the quality and time. Got it? Thirdly, continuous improvement. Today you have added something, that doesn't mean tomorrow it will again work. Again tomorrow you have to bring something new. Something new innovation, something new specifications which will attract customers. That is known as continuous improvement. So you have to means continuous, you have to think about the continuous improvement. Otherwise it won't work. Okay. And innovation related area and costing also you have to keep in mind. So whatever innovation you are going to do it, now you have to means you have to identify how much value you have added, and on the based on that you have to fix the cost. Next is value chain and supply chain analysis. Value chain as a strategic framework for analysis of competitive advantage was promoted by Michael Porter. So Michael Porter, this you may get in MCQ also. Like this framework, that means whatever we are read about the value chain, something you are adding or something, the process or activities you are following to add some value to the article. It may be production, marketing, or sales or trading. Okay, so uh, whatever you are adding, on the base of the quality time you are fixing the cost. And this strategic framework, that means obviously on the means whatever you are doing, you should have some plan now behind this. So this strategic framework for analysis of competitive advantage, this first promoted by Michael Porter. His name is Michael Porter. So Michael Porter is a person who actually analyzed this value chain and supply chain. Advantages of business ethics. Business ethics advantage first is it offers healthy competition. Okay, if you maintain a good behavior, if you're having a good behavior towards your organization, obviously it offers a healthy competition, because everyone will become means will like you, and they will offer you good thing. They will make you to sustain in the market. So it offers healthy competition. Obviously it is going to good help the goodwill of the firm, because your business ethics, the business ethics will help you to maintain a good relationship with others, and also to think positively, and obviously it is going to help the goodwill of the firm. Productivity, obviously, it will help in productivity. It will help to increase the market share. And obviously, if you are having a goodwill of your firm, publicity though will be there. So lastly, fifth point advantage is publicity. So automatically publicity will happen. So these are the 5 advantages of business ethics, that is healthy competition, goodwill, productivity, increased market share and publicity. But sometimes disadvantages of business ethics are also there. Like if you're doing good work, okay, if your goodwill is more projects, if you're doing everything with good faith and everything, obviously it's going to maximize the profit. Maximize the profit means earnings more, tax you have to pay tax also more. Diversity in achievements also there. That means what happened, if whenever you will start achieving something, obviously you are not going to be satisfied on one project. Immediately what you will try to insert 2 or more projects and you will try there in those area. Okay, so whenever you are going to diversify, for example, I can give you diversity in achievement. For example, you are having a business of clothing. Now from clothing you earned a lot. Okay, your profit, maximum profit you earned. So now what happened, what next? Next is, along with clothing, obviously you are going to start a new site, maybe food. Okay, now there also you are doing good and your profit is coming more, and whatever maximum profit your vision was, so you achieved. Now what next? What next? Again you are trying to achieve something else. You are going to invest in some other field. So in this way, 3 4 area will come in front of you. So your focus will diversify. You cannot concentrate on one. That is also one of the disadvantage. And whenever you are doing all these things, extra profit is there, you are doing good, paying tax, obviously extra expenditure is also there na, for making the setup and everything. So and also investment, good investment, payment to your employees, lot of, okay, to do all these things, extra expenditure also will be there. That is also one of the disadvantages. So this is business ethics. Hope you will be benefited from my video. These are all important notes I am sharing with you all. Other than this, if you need anything else, if you are having any clarification, if you need anything, uh, any explanation of any other thing under this topic, that is ethics, then please write in the comment section. Obviously I will revert back. So see you soon. Bye.